Thanks for staying with us. President Cyril Ramaphosa has signed 3 bills into law focusing on small business, climate change and public procurement in the country. The Public Procurement Act seeks to regulate the processes, including preferential procurement by all organs of state. It applies to all departments, constitutional institutions, municipalities, municipal entities and also public entities as well. So let's speak now to Dr. Harlan Cloete, University of the Free State's Public Administration and Management Department's Governance Specialist. Thank you so much for your time, Dr. Cloete, this afternoon. I mean, the President is saying that the law ensures, especially the public procurement one, that contracting of goods and services by organs of state in all spheres of government must occur in accordance with a system which is fair, equitable, transparent, as well as competitive, also cost-effective. You agree?
No, I agree fully. I think we need every bit of support for small businesses. If you look at the patterns that we have in the country at the moment, it is certainly not sustainable. So we need to use the state machinery to make sure that those are on the periphery are included so that we address the pressing problems of inequality, poverty and unemployment.
And there's also, of course, those serious questions that were raised about procurement in the past. For example, how far does this law go in order to address some of the issues, especially you think about state capture, you think about corruption as well?
You know, I always say where there's a corrupt will, there's a corrupt way. And so legislation is meant to enable. Government creates that enabling environment. You know, previous studies have shown Corruption Watch has done a study some years back to show that most corruption happens in the office of the municipal manager, you know, and so where there's a corrupt will, there's a corrupt way. So we hope that this law or this bill, once it is enacted, will do its intended part in terms of making sure that those on the periphery are included. I spoke to a practitioner today from a municipality who is very excited about this, you know, but it is in the how, Chapter 4 and Chapter 5. The regulations still have to be rolled out over the next couple of months. But certainly, you know, if it is implemented, it can surely bring relief to those on the periphery.
And especially speaking about, you know, those in the periphery, I'm sure you and I and many other South Africans would also be hearing stories of some of those who say that we would like to do business, but at the same time, we cannot afford it because we're not getting paid on time. That's also another issue that also needs to be addressed as speedily as possible, as much as the inclusive conversation needs to be had.
No, exactly. If you look at, you know, for me, democracy starts at the door of the local municipality. And so what we have is often working in silos, supply chain, which deals with procurement, local economic development, IDP, and they need to get together. You know, there's a lot of silo mentality in municipalities, and that needs to be addressed. So the internal capability of municipalities, that needs to be addressed. You know, we've also had in June passed the township, the bylaws trying to regulate the township economy. And it encourages municipalities to be much more proactive in terms of making sure that those that do not know how to do business with the state, that they are included. Because that is what we find in a research study that we concluded 4 years ago when we interviewed about 1,000 township entrepreneurs. People don't know how to access markets. And sometimes I think that is deliberately done to keep those at the periphery out. And so municipalities, as the sphere of government closest to the people, need to be, the LED departments need to be reactivated to do what they're supposed to do, which is facilitate that environment of local economic development, promoting local economic development, making sure that people know how to do business and not exclude them, and making sure that it's just business as usual.
And I want to stay with something that you said, you know, around the study that, you know, you say you've conducted in speaking to various township entrepreneurs. It also hits at, you know, what the President had to say in his opening of Parliament address, that this issue of red tape, it's also creating a problem for the businesses as well, because this is also where we look to as a country in order to be able to create some jobs.
Now, we've done a secondary study with them, which is the capacity and the competencies of local economic development managers in municipalities. And there we find that, again, that people don't know, they don't necessarily have the capacity and the competencies to be able to assist township entrepreneurs. So if this is going to succeed, one, we've got a very poor track record in this country in terms of implementation. It must be between the partnership between the community, their organizations, the municipality, and the local business community. We've got in many communities. I was in Springbok the other day, and I asked a colleague there, what is the business relationship with the community? His response was, it's an economic relationship where black people buy from white established businesses, and that's where it ends. And we need new partnerships in this country. Study after study shows that the township economy is vibrant, but they are not graduating necessarily to formal business. And that is, we need to create pathways between those on the periphery and those at the center, so that we have new economic relations. Because if we do not address the economic inequality in our country, then it's like sitting on a ticking time bomb.
As you say, it's a broader conversation, that really must be had. And as you say, the nub of it is going to be in the implementation. It has to be done in order for it to succeed. Thank you so much, Dr. Cloete, for your time. That was Dr. Harlan Cloete, the University of the Free State's Public Administration and Management Department Governance Specialist.